Hello again, everybody. It's Paul Gerald with Groundhopper Soccer Guides. We are your gateway to English and European football. We exist to inform, entertain, and help you get to a game. Check us out at groundhopperguides.com. Today, we want to talk about derbies. We love us an English football derby, and we'll travel a long way to see one. The stadiums are full, passions are high. Teams are acting like they're going to have a fight with each other. Referees are trying to control things with yellow cards. It's just madness, and we love it. By the way, everything you're about to see is in this blog post here on groundhopperguides.com. Check that out. The top derbies in the season, both Premier League and Championship. You got links there to read more about some of these derbies, the history, why they hate each other, and so on. Groundhopperguides.com. Let's check out the Premier League for my English viewers, derbies in the 2021 to 22 season. And why not? Let's start at the very top. Liverpool and Manchester United. Manchester United fans, I apologize. I just happened to find this very charming photograph or drawing in a pub across from Anfield. So I had to put this in. The cities of Liverpool and Manchester have disliked each other a long time for lots of reasons, but in football, it's all about trophies. Liverpool's got a lot. This is represented in their players' tunnel at Anfield. Manchester United has a lot. So when they get together, it's two big cities that don't get along, two big clubs that compete for everything. The Liverpool-Manchester United rivalry this year, October the 24th at United and March the 19th at Liverpool. Liverpool, of course, has another team to worry about. Their nearby neighbors, Everton Football Club. I'm sure you've heard this before, but the two stadiums are under a mile apart, just across Stanley Park there in Liverpool. Goodison Park, a wonderful old place that you want to get to before they replace it in a couple of years. And they are going to build a new stadium down by the River Mersey. Speaking of which, that's the name of the derby, the Merseyside Derby, and they will play November 30th at Everton, April 23rd at Liverpool. Manchester United, of course, has their own neighbors to worry about, the so-called noisy neighbors of Manchester City, who play just across town at the Etihad Stadium. That, of course, is the Manchester Derby, which this year is November 6th at United, March 5th at City. Now, the proximity thing often has a lot to do with why teams dislike each other. In the case of Arsenal and Tottenham, it's not just that they're both in the same part of London, it's that one of them thinks the other one shouldn't be there because Tottenham was there first and Arsenal then moved there and encroached on their territory. The fact that this was about 110 years ago doesn't seem to have dampened the hatred on either side of things. The North London Derby will play out September 26th at Arsenal, January 15th at Tottenham. Tottenham has another club to worry about as well. There's a lot of teams in London that don't like each other, but I think among Tottenham fans, it's pretty safe to say Chelsea, other than Arsenal, Chelsea is the big one. And I think Chelsea probably dislikes Tottenham more than anybody else as well. So you want to watch when Chelsea plays Tottenham, September 19th at Tottenham, January 22nd at Chelsea. Now, sometimes the proximity in these things is not only not a factor, but just downright mysterious. So Crystal Palace and Brighton and Hove Albion are, as you can see here, about an hour's drive and 46 miles apart. Now, in England, that's a long way. So why they dislike each other goes back to lots of things in the past that happened between managers, supporters, players, everything in the world. Go to groundhopperguides.com and read about it. But just trust me, when Crystal Palace goes to the MX Community Stadium or Brighton comes down to Selhurst Park, it's a game you want to watch. And this year, it's September 27th at Palace, January 15th at Brighton. Just some other Premier League rivalries that in each case are probably not the top rivalry for each team, but still fun to watch. West Ham Chelsea, December 4th and April the 23rd. There's kind of a West Midlands derby this year. Aston Villa actually cares more about Birmingham City, and Wolverhampton cares more about West Bromwich Albion. But tough luck because the divisions, promotion, relegation, everything messed it all up. So this year, Villa has to settle for hating Wolves a couple of times. And we'll get to West Brom and Birmingham City here in just a minute. Another one that's back on for this year is Leeds and Manchester United. Leeds is about an hour by train from Manchester, but this goes back to the 60s and 70s when they were top teams, played lots of very high stakes games, and you want to check these games out. I got to say, in particular, the one at Leeds in February, that atmosphere is going to be off the hook. So, in the championship, the second tier of English football, they got derbies too. Let's check out some of the top ones down there. Starting up in the East Midlands here, where you can see that Pride Park, home of Derby County, and City Ground, home of Nottingham Forest, are just 20 miles apart. There's a good look at City Ground. There's Pride Park. And here are the dates when the East Midlands Derby will take place. This is also known as the Brian Clough Cup because Brian Clough famously managed both of them to great glory back in the 70s and 80s. And so now they compete for the honor of seeing who gets to carry the Clough trophy until the next game. Another one that is exciting in the championship is out in South Wales. Yes, I know we're talking about the English Football League Championship, and there are Welsh teams in it. Long story behind that as well. But way out there, Liberty Stadium, home of Swansea City, and Cardiff City Stadium, obviously home of Cardiff City. This is the South Wales Derby. And at these two grounds, this is Swansea and Cardiff. For years, things got so intense that away fans were not even allowed here. There are stories about one group of fans chasing another one into the ocean after the game. It is an insane situation, and I personally cannot wait. I got a ticket for Cardiff v. Swansea. That will be April the 2nd at Cardiff. There's also October the 16th at Swansea in the South Wales Derby. Meanwhile, in West London, Fulham has there's a whole little nest of clubs. Chelsea is in West London, so everybody hates them, but they're so good now that it's kind of irrelevant between them and the rest of these. But Fulham and Queen's Park Rangers are together again in the championship, just a few miles apart there in West London. Those are games that you want to watch. That is a West London derby, as is any game between these four teams. October 16th at Fulham, April 2nd at QPR. By the way, Brentford, having gotten up to the Premier League, will now be playing Chelsea. So that's a West London derby, but it's happened so little that I'm not sure either one is too bothered about the other. You'll have to ask, especially a Brentford fan. Meanwhile, up in the West Midlands, you can see each of these represents a club. So there are just a bunch of clubs up in the West Midlands. None of them, I assume, care too much for each other. Like I said, West Bromwich Albion here at the Hawthorns would rather be shouting at Wolverhampton, but they're in the Premier League. Meanwhile, Birmingham City would rather be shouting at Aston Villa, also in the Premier League. So instead, West Brom and Birmingham will play each other in the championship this year on October the 16th and April the 2nd. And meanwhile, way up in the northwest part of the country is the exciting derby for me this entire year. This is the West Lancashire Derby between Blackpool at Bloomfield Road Stadium and Preston North End at Deepdale Stadium. They have not played for years. They do not like each other, and I personally hope to get a ticket to see the West Lancashire Derby, and you should try to check it out on television. October 23rd at Blackpool and March 19th at Preston. Okay, thanks for watching. Enjoy those derbies. Check us out at groundhopperguides.com, and we will see you at the grounds.